could take the performing artists that are on the stage and get them out of the symphony hall and into the streets.
Votre toast, je peux vous l'entendre, Seigneur, Seigneur, car avec les soldats, le cirque est plein ces jours de fête, le cirque est plein d'Iotova. Les spectateurs s'entendent, les spectateurs s'interpellent en grand fracas.
The classic arts still resonate with people.
It's really bringing the art form to audiences that might not typically have access to it.
They didn't purchase a ticket to it, they didn't know they were going to it. It was literally woven into their everyday lives.
We're capturing an excitement that's out there, and it's something that they can be a part of.
It's a language that anyone can relate to no matter what their cultural background is.
We need to be in places where we can touch lives, where we can share joy, where we can make art unexpected and make people realize how much the arts are important to them.
It all started when somebody sent me a YouTube video from Valencia, Spain. I click on this YouTube video, and there's this guy behind a counter selling vegetables. And I scratched my head, and I wasn't sure why somebody had sent this to me. Suddenly, he bursts out into song. 5, 6 seconds later, the video pans across the aisle to another market vendor. She answers his cry. They both come from behind the counters, go to the center of this market in Valencia, Spain, and begin to sing this beautiful duet. 2 more people come out of the audience and begin to start singing. By now, I'm just completely passionately in love with this video. Suddenly, you've got 6 people singing opera in the middle of a market in Valencia, Spain, and the crowd just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And at the end of it, everybody breaks into applause. And they hold up a sign that says, "So you think you don't like opera, huh?" In Spanish, of course. I began to think about what would happen if you took the idea of that moment and did it over and over and over again. And that's kind of how Random Acts of Culture was born.
Everybody is so caught up with the arts as being this place where you need to go. You need to go to the theater, you need to go to the symphony hall. There's some sort of thing that you have to do in order to be able to appreciate art, but arts are all around us, and I think a lot of us forget how important the arts are to us, and this program helps us blur that line a little bit so people can remember how important the arts are.
So we figured we would try one. We figured we would try one Random Act of Culture to see how it would go.
Dennis Scholl called me about Random Acts of Culture and told me he wanted to kick this off, and mentioned that he thought about Government Center as being a good test case for the very first Random Act of Culture.
We asked 2 violin players, a viola, and a bass player to just do a Random Act of Culture. And one of them started playing in the main concourse of the county hall at lunchtime. And then another one. And then another one started, and then the bass player who had been sitting there the whole time picked up his bass and began to play. The audience reaction was electric. And of course, the more interesting thing is from a digital perspective, everybody took out their cell phone and started to record. And that was when we knew we had something. By the time we got back to the office, even though we were recording the random act of culture, there were already post-ups on YouTube of what people had seen that day, 2 hours ago, at Miami-Dade County Hall. So the audience immediately got engaged, immediately used their digital tools to begin to communicate and share in the experience.
It was brilliant, because if you can stop people in Government Center, you can stop them anywhere.
When we decided to try this one random act of culture and we got such a great response, we thought, wow, we should do a bunch of these. So I went to the Board of Trustees of the Knight Foundation and I said to them, we want to do 1,000 random acts of culture. Now, if I was smart, I would have promised them 100 random acts of culture, and frankly, nobody would have known the difference.
It sounded okay to me, and I said, all right, let's see what happens. And we tried a couple of them, and before I knew it, Dennis was going around talking about how we have a goal of 1,000 random acts of culture. And I thought to myself, I wonder when we agreed to 1,000 random acts of culture.
And they said yes. So we have reached out to all 8 of the Knight resident communities. And in each of those communities, we've asked a partner in the community to work with us to both perform the random acts of culture and also oversee them.
You want to be the sign girl this time? You're going to have to tell me when the train's coming so I can start the music.
What we're going to do is this is your ending spot.
Run, turn around, eyeball each other, go.
We're going to do a couple of rehearsals with it now. When they're done with that, then the horns start playing.
If you're the angel, if you're in the food court, you're going to want to count towards what's happening, act animated, and then join the chorus.
I'm going to be right here. When the train's coming, you cue me, I'll start the music. Perfect. All right, let's set up. So next train, let's make it happen.
So when we reached out to our partners in the community, we asked them to do 2 things. We asked them first, go do some random acts of culture. Tell us what it feels like. Tell us if it works for you. And again, the response was immediate. People went out and tried one out in a mall. We tried one out in an outside courtyard in a shopping mall. And each time they came back and were dazzled by the response.
We literally go from libraries in less fortunate neighborhoods to the most elite shopping malls, to the zoo, to downtown community plazas, college campuses. We kind of think the constituency for this is everybody. So it's capturing people when they aren't ready to be caught.
I think it has really reminded people about the rich cultural offerings. It's really taken them outside of whatever they may be thinking about running errands during the day and brought them maybe a little bit of fun, a little bit of joy. These wonderful world-class organizations are active in their communities, and it's something that they can be a part of.
Then we said, well, we just don't want you to do random acts of culture. We want you to reach out into the community and think of interesting other performing arts organizations.
It's been a lot of fun. It's allowed us to be very creative as far as what we think about what a random act should be and where it should be.
It's just been such a gift to the entire community here. It's a language that anyone can relate to no matter what their cultural background is.
But that 1,000 random act march is a little daunting, but we're looking forward to making sure that that happens.
Of course, there's one particular random act of culture that kind of put us on the map. Back in October, the Opera Philadelphia folks reached out to 30 or so choirs in Philadelphia and invited them to come to Macy's to sing a song. But it wasn't just any song. They got 600 choral members to sing the Hallelujah Chorus from Handel's Messiah to the accompaniment of the largest pipe organ in the world. The response was immediate. As soon as we got it up on the web and they put it out, they had the choral members put it out, they had the friends of the choral members put it out, and suddenly the traffic began to grow. It was almost like watching something just spin faster and faster and faster. I was literally going online every 20 minutes to see that we had another 1,000 watchers, another 1,000 views. It was so rewarding. I got choked up over and over and over when I would read these comments and hear about how excited people were. And of course, the media picked up on it.
We've rarely shown a random act of culture like this one.
Well, they're calling it a random act of culture.
We were on CNN, we were on Fox, we were on NBC, with everybody talking about this random act of culture that had taken place.
I just watched the video. It's unbelievable.
Opera? Apparently the conductor was in a balcony, hidden by clothes.
I joke that we have had singers spread everywhere from men's underwear to women's shoes.
It was a sensation.
It's unbelievable. Really? Yeah, hold up. Hold up.
Sounds fascinating. I like to watch people sing opera.
It's not opera. It's the opera company. You've never heard the Hallelujah Chorus from Handel's Messiah?
I don't know what you're talking about. Sing it. Sing it.
Well, it takes 80,000 people to sing it.
We had so many people get in touch with us and want to do random acts of culture. And of course, we encouraged them to go out and do a spontaneous musical performance. We couldn't support all those, but people started to do them. And in some cases, it started to get a little crazy.
It was a little before 7:30 and singers and would-be listeners were assembling inside the Galleria food court, many more than expected. News 10 cameras were also there to record the event. Then came the unexpected. As several thousand people gathered, the wait had simply become too much.
Go home! And we were on our way there, and the floor just went.
It was a sensation. It started to travel all over the world.
People get it. People understand it. People feel it. It obviously has to be done well. It has to be well choreographed. It has to be done by people with talent. The site selection is important. All of those things go into it. But in the end, if it's done well, it doesn't need a lot of explanation.
We've learned through doing a bunch of random acts of culture that the most important camera shouldn't be on the artist, but should be on the audience. There are stages of what happens to somebody who experiences a random act of culture live. The first one is confusion, because suddenly somebody's gotten up and invaded their space.
These are surprises that get your attention. It focuses you.
They go from a private situation to a community that's watching this and paying attention to it. And they didn't expect that.
And of course, the last one is joy.
Is that you're getting people who are feeling like they're in a community again.
That's the human attraction to these.
Oh my goodness, it's one of my favorite pieces of music.
I was pleasantly surprised and I enjoyed the music. You know, someone said that music calms the beast within all of us. So in all this shopping madness, it was a pleasant moment.
I heard it and thought it was the radio at first and was like, well, no, it's not.
She was looking over in the Christmas decorations, and then all of a sudden you hear music. You look and all of these people that are like random shoppers are playing, and this man starts singing. So it was wonderful.
I am in the wrong place and in the right time. I was supposed to be in another part and I'm so happy. Yeah, so excited.
One of the surprises, besides the audience response, which I think everybody knows about, has been the reaction of the artists as they get to know their audience. Here, their audience is right next to them, so they can feel them, they can hear them, they can see them.
1, 2, 3, 4. What Random Act of Culture does is it goes to people where they already are. We aren't asking people to come to a theater, we aren't asking people to buy tickets, we aren't asking people to plan anything in advance. We're meeting people on their own terms in a place where everyone's already congregated.
What I personally think is really cool about these events is that even though we're playing things from opera and symphonies and things that normally aren't played outdoors, I would say 90% of the people here recognize the music. It's really cool to see people go, wow, that's classical music, and then, oh, I actually know that.
Random acts of culture only appear to be random to those people who are directly affected by it, right? Because there's nothing random about a musician or a dancer. I mean, they study for years in their craft, and it's very deliberate, the kind of talent and the kind of cultivation you need to become an artist of that caliber.
We've been able to give them something for free, give them something of quality, and give them something completely unexpected.
We really do see art anywhere. We see art everywhere.
I can't tell you how many artists have come to me with tears in their eyes and said, I couldn't believe what that was like. Normally, I'm on the stage, there are these big lights in my face, the audience is out there, I really can't feel them, touch them, see them. But when I'm out here, I can feel my audience. They're right next to me. There's no more dividing line, no more barrier. After a while, our performers got good at doing the random acts. I mean, really good. They went from doing 1 a day to 2 to 5 to 20 a day sometimes. Before we knew it, we were approaching that milestone of 1,000. So we decided to ask a few cities to do some big, extravagant ones to celebrate. We told them, have fun, be creative. But Viking roller derby? Even we couldn't believe that one. And to invite people to enjoy them, we kind of whispered a little via Twitter and Facebook, like, there might be a surprise in the lobby today at noon. Each community adapted the works to their own culture. Miami, being the melting pot of America, decided one culture wasn't enough. So conductor Sam Hyken gave us every culture under the sun.
Well, the clouds will sing, sing, satisfy the dark will tower away.
Finally, on a cold day in Philadelphia, it was time. Our 1,000th random act at the beautiful and historic 30th Street train station. We came back to the group that had put us on the map, that had made us a worldwide sensation. Opera Philadelphia's Michael Bolton directing hundreds of choral singers. Only this time we added rhythmic gymnasts. I mean, you can't do Carmina Burana without gymnasts, right? And so we came to the end of our quest. 1,000 random acts of culture. What seemed impossible 2.5 years before was now a reality. We were done. Except no one told our performing partners. Their experience was so profound, their audiences kept asking for more. So they just kept going. 1,100, 1,200, 1,300 random acts. And many of them continue to do random acts of culture to this day. So next time you're in the shopping mall, the farmer's market, or the airport, be alert, as the person next to you might surprise you.